platform, then React Native can be your option. However, if you want to focus on one specific platform, natively speaking, of course, then you could go either to Android or iOS. And of course, if you want to rule them all, you can choose Flutter. The last letter in our super cool acronym for today is D, which stands for delivery. Now, of course, there are some developers who target specific audience, and by specific audience, I mean audience who use specific operating system. Yeah, so thereby they choose specific platform and launch their applications to this specific platform. For example, if you want to deliver your application to the App Store, then of course you should be developing an iOS application. If you want to deliver your application to Google Play, then your app should be Android. If you want to deliver your application to web, then React, Ionic, all those technologies that use web can be your option. And as I said before, if you want to rule them all, and what do I mean by rule them all? Meaning like to launch your, okay, so this is a teaser. To launch your product to the web, desktop, mobile, and embedded platforms, then definitely Flutter is your option. Okay, so probably you're wondering, why did Nawal give us this acronym? What's so special about this acronym? Honestly, I consider this acronym as a key, or several keys, of course, for us to be able to choose the technology that we want in a wise way and in a researched manner as well. Because honestly, I've seen developers who just go for Android application, like go for developing applications for the Android just because it's hard, and just because like they want people to just talk about them, that they're super smart for choosing Android or super smart for choosing iOS. But of course, today, not only today, of course, we need to choose our technology in a wise manner. And in this talk, we will understand all of the aspects of the different approaches that we have in the software engineering world, specifically delivering products. Yep. So how do we develop applications for web, mobile, desktop, embedded devices? So of course, for each platform, there is a specific technology that we can use so that we can target. However, for today's talk, I'm focusing more on the mobile approach. And in the mobile approach, we have the native approach, the hybrid approach, and finally the cross-platform approach. Okay. So here. Every once in a while, I'll just check my DMs to make sure that everything is running smoothly. Okay, so the native approach, or the single platform approach. Here, we are like generally speaking, this is the original flavor of developing mobile applications. Meaning, Apple created Xcode development toolkit, which allows you to create iOS apps using Swift or Objective-C language. And Google created the Android Studio toolkit that allows you to create Android applications using using Java or Kotlin. The benefits for going to the native approach is definitely you will be having a native user interface and user experience, meaning the buttons look like the iOS buttons. That goes even to the Android material design components. Moreover, the gestures, swipes, physics, and all of that are all familiar to the native users, and thereby you guaranteed having your users not facing difficulties while using your application. Another benefit for this approach is that the framework owner, whenever a feature is released, it will be there for you as a developer in the very same day. So you will not have to worry in terms of support for these toolkits because they're made by the same owners. The operating system of each platform is written in the same language that will be using that you will be using to develop the applications. Okay, now one drawback for this approach is that the development speed is slower. Why? Because you will need to develop using different programming languages. Of course, if you, as I said, you want to target the Android platform, you need to write your code in Java or Kotlin. You want to target the iOS the platform, then you need to write your code, program's code in either Swift or Objective-C. So, of course, in such a case, you cannot reuse the code base. So you will have two different engineering teams to develop the same application of the same UI and functionality. Definitely, this increases your maintenance cost because instead, for example, of fixing a bug on one platform, you're doubling everything. So you will fix it on both platforms. So yeah, so it will increase your maintenance cost, development cost, and of course, time for fixing or adding any feature you want to add. So let's chat about the architecture over here. Now, every operating system has its own OEM widgets. OEM stands for the original equipment manufacturer. For example, the iOS applications have different shapes of the buttons than that of the Android, of course. And how the iOS applications show alert message boxes is different than the Android applications, of course. The alignment of the text and all of those widgets that you see on your screen apply to a certain design standard. Android applications follow the material design standard, and the iOS applications follow the Cupertino standard. What is material design and what is Cupertino? So those are the design standards that makes each operating system unique from the other. So basically, those are the colors, style, behaviors, you name it. Okay, so you write your application or you write your code in the native language of the operating system. Let's say you wrote a code to display a button. So what happens over here is that you'll talk to the framework so that it displays what you're asking for, of course. Basically, your code will contact the OEM widgets, and as a result, the widget or the button or whatever you ask the framework to show, it will appear on your screen. How is this beneficial for you as a developer? Your application's code is written in the same language of the operating system, meaning that your app or meaning that your application will copy the behavior or the events of your operating system so that your users will feel familiar to your app. Trust me, if an iOS user opens an application to find it behaving like an Android app, definitely this user will delete the app and probably won't ever download the app. Your code as well will be accessing directly the services of the device. So it will easily access the location, camera, Bluetooth, sensors, and all of the services that are provided by, oops, that are provided by the device. Okay, second approach is the hybrid approach. The main aim in this approach was to target the web developers with previous experience in HTML, CSS, and JavaScript to use this new approach to develop mobile applications. So in this way, the migration process would be easier for them. So what does that mean? That means that the development speed is fast. Web developers now can create mobile solutions. So definitely it increased the development speed. Moreover, in this approach, we will be dealing with a web view. Remember, in the native approach, we didn't have a web view. However, in the hybrid approach, we have a web view. Now, what is a web view? A web view is a part of the browser which runs the HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. Now, fun fact about the components of any browser is that we have WebSockets, we have file system, storage, and web view. So we are not dealing with, of course, in this approach, we are not dealing with the operating system, just like the native approach. No. We can see over here that we have that we no longer have the OEM widgets. Instead, we have the web view, and our app will be running via the help of this web view. The web view and your code is connected by a bridge. So whenever you see a bridge, your brain's compiler should, warn you that whenever we have a bridge, this bridge will add a layer of delay. And not only a layer of delay, a layer of complexity as well. What technologies what technologies use the hybrid approach? We have the Ionic, we have the PhoneGap, and Apache Cordova. Okay, so those applications that are developed using the hybrid approach, they are actually websites running locally on your device. So of course, there is limited access for the devices feature, meaning you cannot access all of the features of your device. It will be quite challenging to deal with augmented reality, for example, in a hybrid application. And like the advantages for using this approach is that any developer with small programming expertise in JavaScript can develop a mobile application. And we have fast development. Why did I say fast development? You can develop an app in a short period of time. You can release your app as a web app or a mobile app. So this is a fast development advantage. Another advantage is that we have an offline web view, so it's running locally on your device. However, the disadvantages here are, of course, our brain's compiler told us that because we have a bridge over here, this means that we will be having a delay in performance because it adds extra layer of complexity. Not only this, the look and feel of the application will differ, of course, from the native approach of the operating system because we're not using the OEM widgets. We're using the UI components of applications developed using the hybrid approach is written from scratch. Okay, now another approach is the native cross-platform. Interesting. So why did we name it as actually we didn't name it as native cross-platform. It's like this, but why is it given the term native, although it's a cross-platform? So let's see. Of course, as a quick summary, we have dealt first with the native approach, then we dealt with the hybrid approach. A quick summary would be you need to know the Android or iOS specifications, and by specifications I mean the programming language, the design standard of the operating system. As I said, material design for Android, Cupertino for iOS. So you need to know those operating system specifications in order to develop the native applications, which we already learned that it's expensive. Why is it expensive? It's expensive because it's not cost efficient and it's not time efficient, and it increases the maintenance costs as well. Another solution that that we had learned, which was the hybrid approach, we had to know or we had to have backgrounds in HTML, CSS, and JavaScript in order, of course, to develop those hybrid applications, which we, again, already learned that it's not the best approach, but it's not even bad. It's good depending on your use case. Now, for this for this approach, you will write your code in one programming language, either C# or JavaScript, okay? And it will get compiled to the native language of the operating system. Xamarin and Appcelerator both targeted the previous experience of the community. Another fun fact, that the C# and JavaScript communities are enormous. They have been in the market since a very long time. Now, in this approach, the code, whether it's written in JavaScript or C#, it will get compiled to the native language of the operating system. However, there is a framework SDK bridge. Bridges again, so our brain's compiler will alert us that, uh-oh, we have a bridge. So what does that mean? Of course, that means, of course, that we have a delay in performance. This is one point, and of course, the application will be connected. Your application will be connected to the OEM widgets via the help of this framework libraries SDK. Now, what's the advantage of this native approach? One is anyone who knows JavaScript or C# can develop native look and feel applications. So no need to learn Android or iOS. No need to learn the programming languages for Android or iOS platforms in order to develop native look and feel. And the development cycle is smaller compared to the native approach, of course, because you get to develop you use one code base to develop on both platforms. The performance is better than the hybrid, of course, because it gets compiled to the native language, unlike the hybrid, which runs in JavaScript in a web view. Now, what's the disadvantage for this approach? Of course, the SDK layer slow down our development efficiency, meaning if a certain feature came out from the operating system owner, you will need to wait to get it because you're not developing using the same language, using the same native language of the operating system. Now, another approach, which is the upgraded version of the previous approach, is the native cross. Yeah. So it's the native cross-platform approach. Your code will be written in a language called JSX, which is a combination of JavaScript and XML. So if we want to look at this architecture for this approach, we will definitely know that one, we have OEM widgets. So because we have OEM widgets, this means that our app will have the native look and feel. Two, another point that we can note out is that we have a bridge, JavaScript bridge. So having a bridge means low performance because it adds a layer of complexity, which definitely takes out from the application's overall performance. Okay, so Facebook developed the React Native. The React Native uses a concept called reactive programming, which is the most modern concept in programming, which focuses on how the data is updated automatically without your interference. And Telerik developed native script. And of course, back to the React Native. The community for React Native is huge. Unlike the native script, which was developed by Telerik, it has a smaller community compared to that developed by Facebook, of course. So if I want to give you quick facts, is that technologies that are supported by a large community is better to work on. So if I was given, for example, if I was not a Flutter developer, and let's say that my client told me that he or she or whatever explained the requirements of the project, I would definitely choose React Native if I was not Flutter developer. But definitely I will choose React Native over native script. Why? I will tell you. Because large communities means that you will have better productivity as a developer because you will spend less time on fixing your code, simply because any bug that you may encounter during your application's development process, most probably you will find the solution on Stack Overflow or any other website, or you'll definitely find it on the internet, unlike a native script because the community isn't big as the React Native. So what's the advantage of using this approach is that, one, we have fast development and we have good performance. Why do we have good performance? Of course, because we have the OEM widgets. And there is, of course, as I said, a large community is better than a smaller community. Of course, in terms of the developers' productivity. Yeah. And the disadvantage, of course, here is that we have a bridge. Again, another bridge, unfortunately. So yeah, a bridge means that it will add a layer of delay and complexity. Okay. And please let the drum rolls, because now we have Flutter. Okay, so Flutter, before discussing the architecture of Flutter over here, let me just tell you what is Flutter. Flutter is Google's user interface toolkit for building beautiful, natively compiled applications for not only mobile, not only web, and not only desktop, but as well as the embedded platforms. And guess what? You deploy all of your code to all of those platforms from a single code base. Now in Flutter, the widgets layer, let's get back to the architecture. In Flutter, the widgets layer, as we can see in previous approaches, we had an OEM widget layer over here. However, in Flutter, we have it near our code. And this is one point to note out. Another point we can note out is that we have no bridging. So yeah, Flutter doesn't use the OEM layer of the operating system. What does that mean? Basically, it tells the operating system to stand aside so that it takes care of the screen. Flutter doesn't care about the operating system of the device because it has its own widgets, and we will see we will dig deeper into the anatomy of Flutter throughout the session. So yeah, of course, when the framework or when Flutter doesn't care about the operating system of the device, simply because it has its own set of widgets, this promotes flexibility. And not only flexibility, creativity for you as a developer, and you will not say no to your designer because because most of the times the designers come up with beautiful UIs, and most of the times those designs are not applicable to translate in the code world. Okay, Flutter produces ARM binary code, which directly talks to the hardcore metal of the mobile phone. Now, what is the ARM binary code? The ARM binary code means your code will get compiled as binary code, then it will be sent directly to the processor. So the performance of the Flutter applications is better than, guess what? It's better than the native. Why? Because let's say, for example, Android, it's not, let's say, this is a fact. Android applications run in a Java virtual machine, and this virtual machine needs memory. So as we can see, it requires processing time, which doesn't exist in the scenario of Flutter. Flutter supports widgets of both platforms, Material and Cupertino. In case you have a feature you want to implement in Flutter and it still doesn't exist in Flutter, you can use something called platform channels, where you will write the code of this specific feature natively, meaning you will write, remember in the beginning of the session when I told you that you can use the use case of augmented reality in a cross-platform solution. I mean, like, it's doable, but not for all of the technologies. However, in Flutter, you can use something called platform channel, where you will code out the features where you will code out the feature that you want natively, either in Java or Kotlin, Objective-C or Swift. And then afterwards, your code will contact the services to achieve the requested feature, of course. Flutter, yes. So Flutter uses its own UI components that look like the iOS human interface and Android's Material design specification. Not only this, by the way, you can make your very own custom widgets, which can be a brand first design. So this is super cool, honestly. But of course, make sure it follows the design guidelines of the operating system that you will launch your application to. Okay. So as I said before, Flutter is Google's UI toolkit for building beautiful natively compiled applications for mobile, web, desktop, and embedded devices from a single code base. Okay, as promised, the Flutter system overview, or the deep dive into the architecture. So what we have over here is, this is basically how Flutter is layered internally. The green layer is written in Dart. This is the framework itself. This is Flutter. So Flutter is written in Dart. And we will know, like, we will know more about Dart moreover. The green layer is what the developer interacts with, and you usually interact less with components or layers as you go down the system, of course. You're more likely to interact with material and Cupertino widgets, but less likely to interact with the foundation layer. Basically, you don't need to worry how things work under the hood, because, but you're expected to deal with the, of course, green layer. Mainly, why did I say that you're not expected to worry about how things work under the hood? Because Flutter deals with everything. Okay, and of course, Flutter's engine is written in C and C++, and yeah. So as I said, you deal with the material and Cupertino widget, and you deal less with the layers as you go down the system. So what is Flutter? Again, Flutter, or what are the advantages actually for Flutter? When you use Flutter, you get the speed and performance, meaning you will have less delay in, of course, there will be no delay in your code because we don't have widgets. And yes, and it's considered to have high performance because, of course, the code gets compiled to the ARM binary code. Flexibility, you can customize anything, brand first design, meaning, yes, because Flutter has its very own set of widgets, you get to be creative with designing your widgets. Thereby, you can have you can design according to a certain like brand. Okay. Native look and feel. Of course, there is like it is familiar to the user, and it's easy to use as a developer. And the rapid development, it's easy to learn and predictable. We will see. We will discuss this point more. However, with the hot reload feature and the developer productivity, where you as a developer, of course, you write one application and deploy both the iOS and Android applications, you get to have high performance because, of course, we are compiling our code, or not we, of course. Flutter is Flutter is compiling Dart into the ARM binary code, which speeds up the performance. So what makes Flutter unique? Of course, as I said, it compiles to native code, ARM binary code. It doesn't rely on the OEM widgets. Thereby, it unleashes the creative side of the developers. There is no bridge, as we have seen, and there is no markup language, unlike the JSX, the JavaScript and XML. So in Flutter, we're not using markup language. It's only one language, which is called Dart, and it rules them all. We will see. What do I mean? So the design requirements in Flutter is that, of course, you get to design, or you get to design branded apps. And again, why do we get to design branded apps? Because simply, we don't have the OEM widgets. Flutter has its very own widgets. So yeah, flexible widgets and freedom in design, fast performance, because our code gets compiled to the ARM binary code, and we use a feature called hot reload, which we will see more. Which we will see moreover throughout the session. And of course, there's no surprise to the developer. As I said, Dart is familiar to the developers who are coming from the C style family programming languages. Not only this, it's no surprise to the user, of course, because Flutter, it keeps Flutter. It's true that Flutter doesn't use the OEM widgets. However, and instead of having the OEM widgets like the other approaches, mobile development approaches, it has its own widgets layer. So and this widgets layer works in accordance with the material library and the Cupertino library as well. So it's no surprise to the user because it functions as a normal native application. And what do we have over here? Dart is a simple yet powerful language. It supports hot reload. Yep, indeed. We will talk more about this. Yes, Skia engine, drawing and animation is handled all by Flutter. And yeah, it compiles to the ARM binary code, and the look and feel of your application will match the operating system. So to sum this up, Flutter is beautiful, fast, open source, and productive. And it's free. Okay. So Flutter's UI toolkit for building beautiful apps for mobile, web, embedded, and desktop platforms from a single, where is this? Oops. Oh, wow, my device is lagging. From a single code base. Okay, and we can see here some applications that are built with Flutter. Oh my God, they're so beautiful. Okay, so of course, Flutter is beautiful. You will not say no to your designer. And it's fast. You can take the speed limiter of your app. Of course, because our code gets compiled to the ARM binary code. It's productive. You can develop while your app is running, and we will see this using a feature called hot reload, this thunder icon. And it's open. Everything is free and open source. The whole project, you can find it on GitHub, and you can see how the tiny bits and bytes of the Flutter is made up. Super cool. So yes, here are some interesting statistics. However, Flutter is in constant growth. So some interesting statistics can be the LinkedIn data said that Flutter is the #1 fastest growing skill among software engineers. Flutter is one of the top 15 GitHub repos. It's used by brands around the world for apps with hundreds of millions of users, and we will see more examples of this. GitHub Octoverse said that the Flutter's Dart is the first fastest growing programming language. Stack Overflow 2020 report said that Flutter is the most loved frameworks, and there are, as I told you, there are many things happening in Flutter. So those are some of the companies that use Flutter. You could head to the flutter.dev/showcase to see to see what companies are using Flutter. And here we can see that whenever I come across to this slide, I just honestly get amazed by the beautiful UIs that exist via the help of Flutter, of course. So as you can see, as a developer yourself, you will not say no to your designer. So yep. And the New York Times had released a puzzle game called Kenken. It's live and it's all built in Flutter. As you can see, it runs on the web, on the desktop, on Android, and the iOS as well. Okay, so Dart. Dart is a general-purpose, object-oriented programming language originally, of course, developed by Google. So Dart, okay, here's another fun fact about Dart. Dart is not only used for Flutter. It's for applications that run on multiple platforms, like the mobile, desktop, server, and web applications. It's known as well as the C-style syntax language. What do I mean by this? Meaning it has similar style to those of the C-style languages, and it can get compiled to either native code, as we already discussed, that it gets compiled to the ARM binary native code, or it can get compiled to JavaScript. So Dart Dart is optimized for the UI. Remember, not earlier, a couple of minutes ago, I said that what makes Flutter unique is that we don't need a markup language because we already have Dart. So Dart is created or optimized. It's best suited for writing your UI. Not only this, as I said, Google manages both Dart and Flutter, and it can amend Google can amend Dart to fit Flutter. So it's amazing. So this is the benefit this is one of the benefits that you get as a developer, as a Flutter developer, sorry, that you are working with the same maintainer of both projects, the framework and the programming language. So, yep. What else? The Dart is specialized for the needs of the user interface creation. So it's created for the UI. And of course, it has other usages. Productive development. Dart enables a feature called hot reload and another feature called hot restart. So that's why Flutter loves Dart, because without the hot reload feature and the hot restart feature, Flutter is not Flutter. So yes, I will show you a demo example, and we will understand more. As we said, it's fast on all platforms. You can basically you can basically compile your Dart code into ARM binary code, which runs fast on all operating systems, simply because the ARM binary code runs directly to the hardcore metal of the device. And of course, as I said, Dart can get compiled as well to JavaScript. Okay, so why Flutter uses Dart? Why doesn't Flutter uses, I don't know, like C#, C, C++, Java? Why does it use Dart specifically? So Flutter uses Dart specifically because without Dart, Flutter is not productive. Without Dart, Flutter is not fast. Without Dart, Flutter is not portable. Without Dart, Flutter is not approachable. Without Dart, Flutter, unfortunately, can be not reactive. However, with Dart, Flutter is productive, it is fast, it is portable, it is approachable, and reactive. So, okay. There's when dealing with like when you start working on Flutter, you will get to hear the AOT compiler. You'll get to hear about more about the AOT compiler and the JIT compiler. The AOT compiler, or the AOT, stands for the ahead of time. And this type of compiler, it supports your application after releasing it, so that it can perform faster. The JIT compiler, the JIT, stands for the just-in-time just-in-time. So this type of compiler, it supports fast development before releasing your application. And what else? Dart has beneficial core libraries, and it has built-in package manager. We will check. Okay, so you can get to use packages in Flutter from my website called pub.dev. Let me just make sure. Pub.dev. Sorry. Yeah. Dev. Yep. Pub.dev. So yeah. And Dart has its own package manager, and it has its own core libraries. Some programming languages, they use a third-party software or technology in order to deal or manage its packages. So you will get to hear that Dart is batteries included. So no worries, when you hear the term Dart is batteries included, what does that mean? Simply, in simple terms, it is a language with all of its tools. So it has its libraries and package management system, all from the Dart team itself. And it has its own virtual machine that compiles Dart code to the machine code, which can work on several platforms like Mac OS, Linux, Windows, etc. And yeah, so who created Dart? Google. We agreed that Google created Dart. Who created Flutter? Google. So all of the tools that you might need during your development journey for mobile applications is all provided from the source to the source, from Google to Dart, then to you. So it honestly, I don't know, I find it a very close relationship between Dart, Flutter, and the developer itself, between the developer. Another feature for Dart is that it's approachable, it's easy to learn, and as I said before, it's similar to the C style programming languages like the C++, C Sharp, Java, JavaScript, and we will get to see some code snippets, like to compare how approachable Dart is. What else? It's portable, compiles to ARM and the x86 code. So yeah, because Dart is compiled to the ARM binary code, it gets to run fast on all platforms. And yep, we said that it translates to JavaScript. If you just type out Dart to JS, you could like translate Dart to JavaScript. Yeah, JavaScript. Yeah. Like immediately, it's an immediate translate, which is super cool. And this is as well provided by Dart. It's not provided by other third-party solution or something like this. And Dart is reactive. It is it has asynchronous programming. It is reactive programming, and it manages short-lived objects. We will get to see more about those. So this is the quick comparison between Dart, Kotlin, Swift, and TypeScript. Yeah, so here we create a class in Dart, then we created the variable and initialized it. And here we are creating a method here in Kotlin, similar. We can see that it's somehow similar to Kotlin. Even in Swift, somehow similar. It's close to the syntax. TypeScript, again, close to the syntax. Okay, now over here, of course, this is an HTML CSS code, and this is a code written in Flutter. Now we're comparing both codes in terms of how familiar they are, familiar in concept. So here you declared, you opened the dev class, which we did here. Dev is like the container widget. And yeah, here you just declare the text, same thing here. Now, yes, the style, new text style is similar to the CSS over here. Mainly, we have properties, and we are injecting the values to those properties in a similar way to how we write CSS. So actually, like Flutter even allows the web developers to quickly learn the syntax of Flutter, because it's similar to the HTML and CSS as well. Okay. So in Flutter, everything is a widget. However, I have some other talks that I did, which I was like telling the audience that not everything is a widget, but as a beginner yourself, you need to know that yes, you will be writing one main widget that will be composed of several widgets. Cool? However, it's better for you as a software engineer or software developer to be like not to stick to a certain concept. It's better to stay dynamic. Like always be open to new ideas. So as a beginner, yes, everything's a widget. However, when you deal more with Flutter and you get to use Flutter on a deeper level in the architecture, you'll get to know that not everything is in Flutter is a widget. We have something called a widget tree, which yes, we deal with widget trees, and we have something else called element tree and a render tree. And we rarely, as developers, deal with those trees, those two trees, the element and render trees. But it's good to know that there are, Flutter is a universe. And like today's session, honestly, is a small part of a planet in the Flutter universe. So yeah, which is super cool, honestly. Okay, so in Flutter, we have two main famous widgets called stateless widget and stateful widget. Now, the stateless widgets are useful when the part of the user interface you are describing or writing down in your IDE does not depend on anything other than configuring what you want on the screen. Okay, and like if you have some data that will change or some logic that will change over the widget's life cycle, then yes, use the stateful widget. For example, scrollable. Of course, as you scroll, you get to expose. You get to expose more of the application, so you get to expose more of the main screen UI, as well as you get to see new elements appearing on your screen. So the logic is changing. Animatable widget, of course. Animations are a series of frames, and yeah, animatable widgets have the capability to, of course, to change over its life cycle. However, text, like it's a static data, it will not change. The hello world will not change regardless of what. Images are images, they will not change unless you are doing something to the image, then this is a complete different concept. Awesome. So yeah, we talked about the render tree. Just like to make you familiar with the concept. Yeah, so in Flutter, everything is a widget, but remember, not everything is widget. So yeah, you have your main app widget. We will save the demo, like to check more about to see a live app widget. Inside most of the app widgets, you can have a material widget. Now, because we have a material widget, we can tell that this application is an Android application. However, if we have, for example, Cupertino widget, then this is an iOS application. So inside the material widget, however, we do have material libraries in Cupertino, but we cannot use Cupertino in Android. And let me just continue this idea, then I will tell you what do I have in mind. Yeah, so inside the material widget, we have a widget called scaffold, which has a text widget, com widget, container widget, button widget. So those are, they all describe your UI. And Yeah. So there's something called Google Fuchsia. But in the meantime, let me check if everything is going well. Uh-oh, I can't hear you properly. Sometimes there's disruption. Oops. I'm so sorry for this. Let me check again. Okay, I'm so sorry. Sorry, Muhammad. I hope that you can hear me better now. Okay, no questions so far. Okay, now there's something called Google Fuchsia. Google Fuchsia is a capability-based real-time operating system that is currently being developed by Google using what? Can you guess? Okay, I will assume that you had said Flutter. Yes, indeed. So Google is working on creating a new operating system called Fuchsia. It will be, it's not, it will be, it is built. They are using Flutter to build this new operating system. You could visit this link to check more information about this operating system. So of course, when I told you that Google Fuchsia is built with Flutter, of course, what I mean is that definitely it's written in Dart, of course. Okay, so what do we have over here? We have the, now in Flutter.dev, here we have some widgets that you will be heavily using throughout developing your mobile applications. So yeah, like this is a small snippet of the widgets that are available. The hot reload. Okay, let me just go back here so that I can get the full animation. Okay, so the developer changed the icon. By the way, this is real time. You can check from the cursor speed. So the developer changed it. The developer is changing several stuff. I can't follow up. So basically, change the text, change the icon, and now this is he's using the hot reload, and you can see how fast Flutter is changing the UI, and we will see like a live example. Widget inspector, you get to inspect your widgets in a very detailed and specific manner. You get to see properties that you will not be explicitly dealing in your IDE. It exists in the Android Studio. What else? So honestly, I love the widget inspector because you get to dig deeper into your app. So as you can see here, this is a very simple UI. However, look how many widgets do we have in order to create this simple UI. But we, like during development, we are not using all of those widgets explicitly. Implicitly, Flutter uses all of those widgets in an implicit manner. If like they are not there in the IDE, you can only see them in the widget inspector. Okay, now we have this is Dart DevTools, which is a collection of performance and debugging tools for Dart and Flutter. As you can see here, we have 1 second. Yeah. So we have several performance and debugging tools. What else? So like, why would we need the DevTools? Simply to inspect the UI here, Flutter Inspector. And by the way, this the Dart DevTools can be accessed from the browser as well, and we will see a living example. What else? So yeah, we can inspect the UI layout and the state of the Flutter app. We can diagnose the UI junk performance over here. We can check the CPU profiling for a Flutter or Dart app. We can check the network profiling as well for our application. We can debug memory issues for our application as well. We can view general log for the app and diagnostics information about our application. I'm assuming that all of you have installed Flutter. If you have some issues while installing Flutter, no worries. I will show you. Okay, so listen. If you have issues with installing Flutter and you've searched for this specific issue and you didn't find the solution for it on the internet, then of course I'd be super happy that you DM me the error. It will be super interesting to check out what kind of error are you facing that is not available on the internet. So this is my Twitter handle. Not only this, so we are coming to a semi-end for our session. This was the theoretical part of the session. Now we will check the practical part. And yes, one second. Yeah. So I will show you a quick demo, and then I will give you, or you know what? No need to ruin the surprise. Just follow up with me. Okay. So yeah, if you have, as I said, if you didn't install Flutter yet, no issues. You could head to this link and install it. If you come across some bugs or problems whilst installing Flutter on your machines, and you didn't find the error, as I said, on the internet, then yeah, I'd be happy to check out what interesting bugs are you facing. Okay, so those are some commands that you will be using heavily throughout your development journey with Flutter. We have the first command is Flutter Doctor. So of course, there's a very specialized doctor for our SDK, which will check our environment and displays a report to the terminal window. So this command you will be using it heavily. Flutter upgrade is another command that updates both the Flutter SDKs and your packages as well. You have another command which is called Flutter create. For example, Flutter create demo. So in such a manner, you create a project called demo. Flutter clean to fix some bugs that you are facing during the build. Flutter channel to see on which channel you are. What? Flutter channel is a command that let me just, it will be easier to show you. So, Flutter channel. This is one of the commands that you will be using. There are several channels. We have the master, dev, beta, stable. I am on the dev channel. If I want to change the channel, I don't want to change it. I don't want to break things now in the session. If I want, for example, to run my project, oops, I will just say Flutter run. Of course, I need to run this command while I'm in the directory of my project. Okay. So the IDE support, we can run our applications on the Android Studio, IntelliJ, VS Code. For today's demonstration, I will be using the VS Code. So now the practical part. Okay, cool. Let me just make sure that my screen, can someone please confirm that you can see? You can see my screen. There's some disruption in your voice. Oh my God, again. Okay, awesome. So Muhammad confirms that. Okay, I'm so sorry for the weird internet issues. I'll try to sum this up. Okay, so in any Flutter application, so of course after running this command, Flutter create, of course you get to choose your specific I don't know, where do you place your project? I place my projects in a folder called VS. Oh, interesting. In a folder called VS Code projects. Then I say, for example, Flutter create demo. Create demo app. So this is a demo app that we will not use. Just I did it for demonstration purposes. You could place it in anywhere you want on your machine. Okay, now back to this to our demo for today. In any application, Flutter application, you have your main file that you will be heavily using, okay? And if you wanna, most of the times, if not always, you will be using packages. So we get to use a file called pubspec.yaml. In this file, this is a very sensitive file. What do I mean by a very sensitive file? Meaning that spaces matter over here. For example, if I wanna, I don't know, no, I don't wanna play with the SDK. I don't wanna explode stuff over here. Let's say, for example, that I have now this is the package that we will be using for today, English words. As you can see, there's only there's two spaces. Cool. Let's say that I want to add another space and hit save. I will have some issues in my code. Not only this, the package won't work properly, which of course I don't want such thing to happen. Let me just make sure of something. Okay, so this is the final UI of our application. Basically, we have used the English words package in order to get from this package, which is called the English words. In order to get the English words, of course, we have added. This is called the app bar. We have added a text, a title. In the app bar, we have an icon over here, and this is a new page or a route in Flutter. Of course, it's empty. It's empty because, yep. So we have I'll explain why it's empty. We have the heart icon, for example. Let's say that, okay, this is my favorite word. Um, I don't know, like another favorite word, another favorite word, another favorite word. So all of those words will get saved in this page or route, which is called Save Suggestions. If I want to remove this, I don't want this, and I don't want this. So it gets removed. Okay. So let's head back to our main. Before heading back to the main, yeah. So in this file, the pubspec.yaml, we add packages, for example, like the English words package, which we were able to get from the pub.dev package site, which is dedicated entirely for Dart. And we can add as well assets like images. We can add fonts as well. What else? We can add the several several data. But for today's talk or today's demo, we are only dealing with this package. Yep. Okay, we are dealing only with the English words package. Okay, let me just make sure everything is running smoothly. So we have, this is the hot reload. Let's say that I wanna change the theme of my my whole application. I don't know, I want it black. So yeah, there you go. Once again, let me just have the code here. Yeah, better. Let's return it to green. So you can see that it took me, hide. Oh my God, come on, what's wrong? Okay, better. So it took me around 930 milliseconds to update the color, which, yeah, it happened, I think, in a blink of an eye. Okay, so first things first, in any application in Flutter, you get to always import something called material.dart. It's a package, okay, so that we can use. Okay, so as you can see here, we have so many errors. So those errors are from the material.dart file. So we can see everything that is highlighted in red is from the material, the Dart. Anything else, like you can see that not everything is highlighted in red. And by highlighted, I mean, sorry, I mean underlined by red, by a red line. Yeah. So yeah, not everything is from the material the Dart. We have some non-UI logic in our app, of course. So yeah. So with material, again, what is material? Material is a visual design language that is standard on mobile and the web. And we have seen that when I commented out this line, several material widgets were underlined with a red line. So Flutter offers a rich set of material widgets. So those widgets that were underlined by red, those were offered by Flutter via the material.dart. Okay, so yeah, after importing here, after using the English words from okay, let me just show you pub.dev. Yeah. So I will just type out English words. Okay, so this is the English words. Okay, 1 second, let me just zoom out. Okay, so we could have used some other package other than English words. However, why did we choose English words specifically? We can see here some numbers. Now, as the package as there is high percentage, this this tells us developers that this package is healthy. What do I mean by a healthy package? A healthy package means that the maintainers are constantly fixing the bugs. So that's why the community they vote on the best package that is healthy. And there is 131 likes. There is 110 pub points. We can see that there is somehow close numbers, but we can tell that this package has low number of likes. What else? So yeah, what do? We just click here, okay? Oops. So yeah, when we click here on this, so it got copied right now. Fun fact, there was a null safety. So, oh my God, come on. So there's another version of the package which supports null safety. As I told you, today's session is a small part of a planet in the Flutter's universe. Null safety is a very super interesting topic that requires like another day to talk about it. Back to our oops, back to our code. So yeah, now I could just simply paste it. I pasted it. Then Control S. I'm using Windows in case you didn't guess. So yeah. Anyway, after importing it manually, of course, in the pubspec.yaml, I need to import it in my code so that I can extend the usage of this package throughout my code. So if I commented out the package, we can see that not everything was underlined in red lines. Not everything. Only word pair we can see so far. Word pair. Generate word pairs. This is a method. So in packages, we don't only have classes, we have methods, we have words like this one. So all of those words, okay, they all came with the package. However, the icons, they didn't come with the English words package. They came with the material. They came with the material package, material.dart. Okay. Where is this? We can see over here. Now this is the entry point for our, not for like, this is the entry point for any Flutter application. Void main, then run app, and here I'm running my class. So yeah, there's a concept in Flutter called fat arrow. which you use it for a single line of statement. Normally, you use this. Yeah. So normally you use this. However, because I have only a single line or one line in the body of main, so I will use the arrow key or the fat arrow. Okay. Control S. It fixed the structure. Or not Control S as well. I can. It's not here. I can format the document. Anyway, format the layout, not the layout, or format how the code looks. For example, if I did this, okay, then of course this is I don't know, like for me, I don't like seeing too much white space in my code. So yes, this is another feature from Dart, which can just simply by hitting Control S, it fixes the structure of your code so that it can be more readable. Okay, so over here we created we already, okay, remember when I told you that everything in Flutter is a widget? Okay, stay with me on that. So yeah, everything in Flutter is a widget, and we discussed two famous widgets, which are the stateless widget and the stateful widget. Now, this is the stateless widget, my app. Okay, it extends the stateless widget, which will not be there's no state here. All of the data is static. However, when I want to, as I said, remember when I told you that there's a widget called scrollable, that of course the scrollable widgets are types of stateful widget. So yeah, so this is what we are doing over here. In order for us to create stateful widget, we could either write everything manually, or for example, of course, you need to go to the extensions and download the package, or sorry, not package, extension called Awesome Flutter Snippets. And trust me, it's very awesome. It's by Nivash Ramdile. So let's say, for example, I want to create a stateful. So I'll just type out STF, stateful. Ta-da! Look at this awesome Flutter snippet. So it created for me. Now, of course, okay, one second. It created for me the structure or the backbone of stateful widget. We can see over here that stateless widget are, yeah, so they are like there is no further structure in it. It's very straightforward. However, in the stateful widget here, we get, for example, to we need to create first the stateful widget and the state class. So of course I'm gonna delete this because oops, what is this? Oh my god. I will delete everything. Awesome. So yeah, we create first. If you don't want to download the very awesome Flutter snippets and you want to like be brave enough to manually write everything, then of course go ahead. Step one for creating a stateful widget is that as I said, you create a state class. This is a state, and here we have the random words, which exist over here, of course. This is a generic class. which is specifically, we created it to specifically specialize for the random words. Now, most of the state and logic of the app will be here. It will maintain the state of the random words widget, okay? And in this class, this one, in this class, I will save the generated word pairs, which will grow infinitely as the user scrolls. Now, step 2 to create the stateful widget is, again, manually writing class random words extend stateful widget. We need to override it because here we need to create a specific state for our random words state. Okay. Now, in case we were reloading, and this is the debug console. One second, let me just remove this. This is our debug console over here. Is the size of the font good for you? I think it's all cool since no one commented on it. So yeah, this is our debug console. Since we have no error message, like for example, reloading, not all changed program elements ran during view reassembly, consider restarting. In such a case, we could just simply hot restart instead of hot reloading. Probably some data is not being synchronized. So yeah, we need to hot restart. But since we have all the data being hot reloaded successfully, so we're on the safe side. Okay, cool. So now, yeah, we need here we are creating the infinite scrolling list view. This is the list. Okay. Yes, so as we can see, this is a word pair, 2 words, okay? So a word pair, as the name implies, of course. Yeah, so of course, as I scroll infinitely, the list will grow in size infinitely. It will never end, okay? So this is what I'm doing over here. Yep, so here I added a list, which is the like the words from the I'm extracting them from the package, and I'm adding a variable, which is the bigger font variable. Yes, so I'm adding this variable to make the font size larger. I could simply just write, I don't know, like 12 maybe. So I hot reloaded, and I can see that there is no big changes. Okay, let me just write 5. Hot reload. So it seems like it's not being hot reloaded properly, so I will hot restart. Wow, interesting. So this is another interesting point. I didn't receive an error message, but I was able to tell that the hot reload was not properly functioning because the UI was not translating as I want. So yeah, let me just have it here. Control save, hot reloads automatically. Again, same problem. Interesting. So I'm gonna just hot restart. Okay. Yep. So what I'm doing over here is that like I created this method, which is the build suggestions method, in order to build the list view to displace the like to place the word pairing, to place it in the list. Now in this method, in the list view.builder, there's a property that if I don't have it, or if I don't include it, one second, if I don't include it, compiler will be so upset from me. So as you can see, the parameter item builder is required. Control Shift. What did I do with my life? What? Yeah. Okay. So yeah. So this is the item builder is a property in the list view.builder, and this is the documentation. I have received an error when I commented out the item builder. It told me that the item builder was required. This is because in the documentation, oh, another fun fact, you can access the Flutter documentation. As you can see here, the Flutter documentation can be accessed from the IDE itself. No need to go to the website. So this, of course, enhances your productivity as a developer and will save you time. So how did I like reach out to the documentation? I pressed the Control key and clicked on it, and I was able to enter the documentation of it. And yes, so there was an annotation, or it was declared as a required property. That's why I need to put it. Anyway, so this property takes two arguments, the build context and the row counter. The row, this is a row, another row, row, row. Okay, so the counter begins at 0, and it increments each time the function is being called. Where is the function being called? Let me see. It's called in the body of the stateless or stateful apparently. Okay, so it's called in, of course it needs to be, since listen, this method has data that is changing, so we cannot put it in a stateless widget. Yeah, we cannot put it in a stateless widget. It needs to be placed in a stateful widget because it has data that will be changed. That's why it's inside the stateful widget. Okay. What else? So here are some specific like math to display this row in such a manner. Then okay, so one second. So here it says if I is odd, if the counter that we have it is odd, return a divider. What is a divider? I don't know if you can see it. It's over here. Just gonna okay, so take notes. Control and space, you get to access the properties of the class. So I can see that there the property for color, there's a property called color for the divider, colors.red, for example. Yay, we can see it more clearly. Actually, I was planning like to have the thickness, for example, 10. Yeah, so that we can see. Anyway, so my point is, if the counter was odd, return divider. So all of those word pairs are placed in, they are even. The counter of the row is even. So for example, 0, 1, 2, 3, you got it. It's easy. The concept is simple. So yeah, I'll keep the red. However, it's not the best looking application, but it's fine so that we can see it more clearly. Yes. So yeah, we are calling, okay. Remember when I told you that Dart is an object-oriented programming? Well, guess what? Yes, Dart is an object-oriented programming. And it takes as well some properties. It takes some properties from the functional programming where we call functions within a function. So this is now widget build suggestions. This is a method. Sorry. This is not a method. This is a widget. Okay. Now inside this widget, yeah. So inside this widget, I am calling another widget, which is the build row. So what is the build row? It's simply just like it's building the UI in a better looking manner. Yes, okay. So we are creating a list style. Okay, so what is the list style? Oh, okay. Interesting. So yeah, list style, it's from the material widget. I am using it in order to place the words inside of it. Pair is, as you can see, it's from the class word pair. I can delete this and say for control space. I want it to be as uppercase. Control S, boom, all uppercase. However, I don't like it this way, honestly. I'll return it. Pascal. Pascal case is the camel case, meaning every letter in a word is capitalized. Yeah. So yeah, honestly, you will get to know why am I explaining the code this way. Bear with me. Bear with me. There's a cool surprise. Anyway, I don't wanna ruin surprises now. So yeah. Okay. Okay, then here, 1 second. We are changing the UI. It's not that important. Okay, so over here we created this line, the final. Okay, so this is a variable of a type set. It's a collection of objects in which each object can occur only once. So we could have used list, but I don't want the data here or the objects to be duplicated. That's why I'm using this type of collection or class. Okay. So why did I add this? So that when I I don't know if you can hear that. It's a tap. Okay. Anyway, so when I tap or when I click the icon, it can be saved. Okay, it can be saved. This is a variable called saved. It can be saved only once, even if it happened that I have another word called pour crack. Since there is a tendency, honestly, to have another a word called poor crack, if it happened that I favored it twice, it will appear in the set once, and the set data will be here. It will be displayed in this route, which is the saved suggestions. Okay. What else? So here we are inside the build row widget, which was called in the build suggestion widget. Okay, so here we are creating a variable called already saved variable to ensure that a word pairing has not already been added to the favorites, so it will be added only once. Okay, and yeah, so this is the icon that I've added over here, favorite icon. Awesome. Okay, so if it was already saved, then yeah, if it was already saved, then like execute this. Otherwise, execute this. This is a ternary operator. It's like the if else, and if already saved was true, then if it was favorite, okay, if it was favorite, then yeah, as you can see here, the favorite border is a dull heart. The favorite icon is it's an icon. It's a gray icon, but here we are adding colors. Anyway, if the already saved, if it was evaluated to true, meaning if I pressed it, I want to see a red color. I can have, for example, I don't know, like blue. Okay. Oh, that's super awesome. Yeah, better. So yeah, we can, yeah. Otherwise, don't do anything. Now we are going here. Okay, so here, like without. Okay, so without this, without this code, we cannot see the UI on the screen. So the heart icons, okay, the heart icons normally, if we don't have this method or any icon, not only the heart icons, they are not tappable. So we need here, that's why we added the option to interact with it, which is the on tap. When the user taps an entry in the list, which is this one, any entry, toggle like making the state, changing it to become favorite, then that word is added or removed. It can be either added or removed from the set data structure. Okay. So over here, what we are doing over here is that okay, so this, okay, let me just remove it to this, and now I just press the control space. Let's say I want the access alarms. Please keep your eyes over here. And okay, I added this. I haven't, as you can see, the file is not saved yet. I will save it, and boom. Anyway, so that I can easily show you what I'm doing. Yeah, so in this line, like when the user clicks here, of course, the user can see which word pair they liked. So yeah, so of course, this is, as you can see, this is another page. Okay, so it's another page. So pages in Flutter, the navigator, okay, it manages. Okay, so let me just explain this concept. So adding a page in your application, in your Flutter application, is called like the new page is called a route. In Flutter, there's a concept called navigator. Navigator manages a stack, okay, containing the app's routes. Pushing a route or pushing a page onto the navigator's stack updates the display to that route. For example, now I updated the display, so I have the new route. I updated the display, so now I have new route. Both pages, they already exist in my application, but they are placed in a stack manner. As I told you, when I push a route onto the navigator stack, it updates the display to that route. And if I want to pop a route from the navigator stack, it returns the display to the previous route. Pushing, popping. This is the previous route. Okay. Of course, we need to add a method called push save. What will we have in this push save? Okay, so when you build a route and push it to the navigator's stack, okay, this action changes the screen to display the new route, as this case. Okay, so this is the new route. Okay, so the content for the new page is built in the material page routes builder property. Material page route builder property. So this is the page is here. Anyway, when you call, where is this? Yeah, when you call the navigator.push, it pushes the route to the navigator's stack. The IDE, of course, or never mind about the IDE. Okay. Now inside the push method, where is it? Yeah, here, also right here. Yeah, so inside the push method, we added, so here inside the push method, we added the material page route and its builder. And inside of the builder, we can see that there's that the list style rows, it's being generated. There's a method, one second, there's a method called divide. Oh, where is it? Divide tile. Where is this? Divide tile. Yeah, so this method, divide tile, is it belongs to the list tile. It adds horizontal spacing between each list tile. The divided variable holds the final row, which at the end we convert it into a list. Okay. I hope my voice, okay, awesome. Cool. So finally, we are, or we added, where's my emulator? Yeah. So we finally we have the scaffold that contains, it's from the material.dart, it contains the app bar, which, not this one, sorry, here. So yeah, it contains an app bar with a text called Save Suggestions, and the children. Okay, so in Flutter, our widgets can have either children or child. So yes, so the list view, it has children, of course, because it's like expecting to have several word pair. Now each, one second, where is the divide again? Okay, so yeah, as we can see over here, we have the horizontal lines. Then you can, okay, so I haven't added this back button to the app bar. I didn't explicitly, as you can see, I haven't explicitly added it here. Like, yeah, because like when you click this, the navigator.pop returns to the default route. Anyway, so yeah, I haven't added this. It was added by the material library, so it's not me. As you like, I don't know if you still remember that there are some widgets that I will not explicitly mention. They exist in the Flutter inspector. They are called by Flutter by default, but of course not everything is not everything works like this. Yeah. Lastly, okay, so there's something called theme dot. Okay, so I can either change the theme of every page, or I can dedicate a theme data class where it controls the theme of my whole application in order to have a consistent UI. And of course, this is a better solution, but of course, it depends on your use case and requirements. Now, the theme, of course, this is in stateless widget, not stateful. Why? Because, as I said, this is the theme will not change. It will be applied once and for all. Once you are declaring it or initializing it once, and for all, as you have seen, it's for all of the app, all of the app. Okay, so the theme controls the look and feel of your app. You can either use the default theme, which was, or which is actually the blue. This is normally, like this is the default color of any Flutter application. But of course, then we change it. We change it. Of course, the default theme is dependent on the physical device or emulator that you are using. Or you can customize your theme to reflect your own brand. Again, as I told you, depending on your use case and requirements. Okay, so yeah, you can change any color you want, any color. How did I access this? Control and space. Let's try out Indigo. Oh, interesting. Anyway, so this is it. This was a small demo, and 1 second. So yeah, this was the practical part. As promised, you can scan this QR code to get the resources. This, so I advise you to keep this link with you. Once again, yes, once I finish this session, I will send you the links. I can give it to Muhammad, and then Muhammad can send the all of the links to you. Anyway, so inside this document, there are of course set of resources so that you can get started with Flutter. I will work on the sheet resources on this document. Furthermore, to include more resources, because I briefly added some resources. One of the resources that I've added was an article, a series of articles where I collaborated with a friend of mine, Beza. We interviewed Flutter GDEs, and we're still working on it. It's a never-ending project. So I advise you to check out these series of articles. So I asked Beza, and I asked the GDEs some interesting questions for the beginners in Flutter. So yeah, check them out, and we're trying our best to keep the article up to date. And no one knows, we might interview one of the awesome attendees today, sometime in the future. I hope that, and they can share their experience as well. Yes. So, are we done yet? What do you think? Are we done yet? Okay, so I'm assuming that people are talking to me, so I'll continue. Not yet, although we finished the theoretical part and the practical part. So, yep, we're not done yet. Well, what do you think? Can you take a challenge? It's a cool challenge. So, again, I will assume that people are responding to me, and I'm assuming that people are saying challenge accepted. Okay, that's great. So head over to this link, Flutter DSC Debrecen. I hope I'm pronouncing it correctly. And or you can just scan the QR code. Again, both strategies will lead you to the challenge. And so when you finish, it would be super awesome if you could share your Flutter badge with us on Twitter. Tag me. So this is 2 underscores and Nawal HMW. Tag the DSC Unideb Twitter account as well, and use the hashtags Flutter and DSC Debrecen. I hope I'm pronouncing it correctly. Muhammad, if you have some other suggestions for other hashtags, it would be cool, but mainly use the Flutter hashtag. And don't forget to tag me and tag the DSC Unideb. Share it, of course, on Twitter. Share your Flutter badge. So when you finish, when you head to this link and be able to finish the Flutter pathway, you will get something like this. Of course, you will get your badge, okay, and you'll get an option which says share via Twitter or Facebook, preferably Twitter, so that all of the Flutter community can celebrate this huge achievement of yours. That said, thank you so much for your time and attention. And if you have some questions or any question in Flutter or in regards to the challenge, you can reach me out via my Twitter handle. And yeah, let me just go to this link to make things simple. Okay, so this is the pathway. When you click on the link, this is the pathway. It's super awesome. No worries, this is wrong. 33% completed. No, I got my badge. Anyway, so yeah, finish all of those, and yeah, I finished. So yeah, so start with this video, then this code lab, then this video, another code lab, another code lab. Afterwards, when you finish, you need to take the quiz, and when you finish the quiz, you will be able to grab this badge, the Flutter badge. It's super awesome. You can share it on Twitter, as I told you. Yeah, tag me and tag the DS Unideb. I would love to see your Flutter badges so that we can all celebrate this huge achievement. And by the way, there's other pathways here in the Google developers. Muhammad can tell you more about it in future talks or sessions. It's super cool. You can get a badge and share it on your social media accounts. Yep, so that's it from my side.
Thank you so much, Nawal, for having this awesome session. It was great, really.
Awesome. I'm so happy that I really hope that the students are eager to learn Flutter. And as I said, if you have any questions in regards to Flutter or in regards to today's session, don't hesitate to reach me out via my Twitter account. I'd love to help.
Yeah, sure. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Muhammad. Thank you, DSC. Awesome students. So let me see if there are questions.
I don't think
John,
so. So I
thank you
guess
very much.
it's
Yay, you don't like it. Thank you, John. Awesome. Awesome.
Okay.
Cool.
Okay, then thank you guys for joining us. Have a nice day.
Thank you. Take care.
Bye-bye.
Stay safe.
Have a nice
Bye.
day.
Bye.